Paola, what are foodborne illnesses?
Yeah, go.
A foodborne disease is an illness acquired by consumption of contaminated food.
How do we as employers and employees prevent the growth of foodborne illnesses?
Now we will demonstrate how to properly clean your hands with soap and water. Now you're going to want to have an adequate amount of soap, and you're going to scrub your hands thoroughly before entering the water. You want to scrub your hands on the front and back surfaces. When you start washing your hands, you want to sing the ABCs. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, and Z. That amount of time will allow you to prevent the growth of any kind of illness that could come from handling any kind of food.
So here today we'll be demonstrating proper separation techniques when cooking with foods of two separate groups to ensure that cross-contamination does not happen. See, here we have one separate cutting board with our meat on top and our separate utensils that we would use to cut that meat. We would not be able, given this meat's contamination, to utilize these same cutting board and utensils with this vegetable over here, the cross-contamination of which could present with a foodborne illness in an individual who was to consume either this vegetable or that meat. If you were to utilize the same cutting board and utensils, the only thing you would have to do is to make sure to wash both your hands as well as to thoroughly wash the cutting board and utensils before swapping foods in order to ensure the non-cross contamination.
Here we want to pay particular attention to cooking meats, whether poultry, beef, pork, or any other raw meat, ensuring that they have a sufficiently high temperature to have a safe, thorough internal temperature above 160 degrees Fahrenheit at all times.
The ranges of safe holding temperature for already cooked food begin with and extend above 140 degrees depending on the food. Food being stored in refrigerators must be stored under 40 degrees. This does not include frozen food. Consequently, food ranges between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees is the danger zone, and this food runs the risk of foodborne illness contamination.
Salmonella is a genus of the bacteria that causes salmonellosis. These bacteria are transmitted via consumption of contaminated food of animal origin, primarily meat, poultry, eggs, and milk. Some symptoms of salmonella present within 12 to 72 hours after the infection or contamination, and could possibly include fever, abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea, and even sometimes vomiting. Some household pets and animals that could possibly harbor salmonella are cats, dogs, and even baby turtles. This bacteria can be transmitted through countertop contamination by animal feces, contaminated water, and even soil.
Hepatitis A is a virus spread through ingestion of contaminated food and water or through direct contact with an infectious person. Some symptoms can include fever, flu-like symptoms, nausea, jaundice, and loss of appetite. Some foods associated with hepatitis A are fruits, sandwiches with cold cuts, dairy products, vegetables, and shellfish. The way food gets contaminated with hepatitis A is either through fecal oral transmission or bodily fluids that the food becomes contaminated with.
E. coli are bacteria found in the environment, foods, and intestines of people and animals. Although most strains of E. coli are harmless, others can make you extremely sick. Some symptoms of E. coli can cause diarrhea, as well as urinary tract infections, respiratory illness, and pneumonia. It can be transmitted by hamburger meat, raw milk, and contaminated raw vegetables and sprouts. The major outbreaks occur in restaurant chains.